Happy New Year! It is time to celebrate. So put on your glasses, put on your necklaces, go pop your popcorn, cover your table with maybe a paper tablecloth or paper or whatever it may be. Go ahead and put on some comfy clothes. Get yourself some clean water in a water cup for your brushes. And let's get started. Remember, you guys can pause me at any time and hit play at any time, so that way you can get yourself caught up or take a break or whatever it may be. No stressing allowed. And remember, I paint in a process. I paint in layers. So let's just have fun with this. And let's just see where it takes us. And remember, you can change your colors at any time. Now, you may want to leave your paints in the tins because you can always go back and scoop some color out and put them on your paint plate to mix your own colors, okay? But if you leave them in the tins, when you're done, you can just put the lids back on and reuse them for another project or paint your bag. You could always paint your canvas tote bag, right? All right, guys, so I am going to start with my biggest brush that has the pointy corners, okay? And we are going to paint our background first. And really, you could do whatever color you want. There's no right or wrong answer, okay? I think I'm going to go for kind of a reddish pink. So I'm going to put a glob of white. You can put a glob of white on your plate. You're going to mix some red into it. Now, yes, I know there's a lot of paint on my plate. That's because I've already done other paintings today, and I'm just continuing to use that. Now, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hold my paintbrush just like I hold a pencil, right where the metal and the handle touch. If you don't trust yourself to outline with this brush, you can always switch to a smaller brush to outline, just like this. Got a little bit too much paint on there, but anyway, you can outline by either A, turning your brush so it makes thinner brush strokes, or B, switching to a smaller brush for the outlining parts, okay? And we're just going to work our way around this painting just like this, little by little. We'll get ourselves around, and I'm not going to outline the whole thing just yet. So I'm going to outline about that much, and then I'm going to go ahead and start filling it in just like this. Now, I'm not all about nice and smooth. Personally, I like to kind of swirl things, make it more interesting, just like that. Here we go. There. We'll get this all filled in. Okay, there, so we just swirl, swirl, swirl. Anytime I'm kind of swirling and flicking my brush, I might hold it a little further back. When I'm doing detail, I hold it closer. Okay, there we go. There, we'll get this all filled in. Now, if you have oopsies, you can definitely let it dry and then just paint over it. Or you can wrap your napkin around your finger, dip it in your water, and then rub that oopsie off. Move your finger to a dry spot on the paper towel or the napkin, and then wipe it dry. Okay? Here we go. We'll work our way around on this side now. Remember, this brush can make thinner brush strokes as well if you don't want the thick one. There we go. Whew, sometimes I get a little quiet when I'm trying to stay, when I'm trying to keep the paint where I want it, right? There we go. There we go. Awesome. Okay, I do like to do my edges, so I'm going to paint the sides as well. And I'll work my way to the top too. There we go. Just kind of flick that in there. There we go. Could get a little fancy and kind of come in here on these edges and darken them up a little if you wanted to. There we go. Okay. That's kind of fun, right? Although it's not very noticeable now that I went over it so much, huh? The more you go over it, the more it will blend. Okay. Go. Now, I can switch brushes to squeeze in these, or we can stick with this one, your choice. There we go. Whew, squeeze in there. There. Now we do have to paint this edge as well. We can't forget that. Ta-da! Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I hope y'all have some music jamming, playing some Frank Sinatra, or some Celebrate, good times. Oh yeah, music, right? Sometimes it helps us paint better if we're just kind of relaxed to the tunes. Okay, there. Oh, to clean our brush, we got to smush and swirl. I've done this so many times, I forgot to tell you. Smush and swirl, wipe instead of tap, and then you have to dry your brush every single time you wash it. So I just kind of sweep it, sweep it, sweep it, just like that. Okay? Whew. There. Now, oh, I just stuck my arm in that painting, didn't I? Okay, so now we got to work on the table, and we got to work on the wine glasses. We just have so much fun to do. So let's work on the table next. I think I'm going to do a dark gray that I was using earlier. So to make gray, you're going to get a glob of white, put it on your plate, and then get a little bit of black at a time until you like it, okay? Obviously, the more black you put in, the darker your gray will be. So it's up to you kind of what value you're going for. Okay, there we go. Get this on here. There we go. There. Okay. Just got to relax and enjoy. Have a good time. There we go. Outline. And fill in. Outline and fill in. There's not much room to squeeze down there, is there? But it's honestly okay if you get it on the bottom since we're doing our edges, so it won't matter if you get paint down there. And in fact, we could probably just flip this guy upside down here in just a second. So that way we can paint the whole bottom edge, right? Oh, there we go. Now you may be painting flat, and there's nothing wrong with that. And honestly, that is how I paint when I'm making example pieces. At home, I just paint flat. I just put a tablecloth down on the table and just paint flat right on top of that. Just so much easier, I think, than painting vertical. Your shoulder gets tired when you paint vertical, right? You work some muscles. There we go. There, there. Get it, good. Get it, good. If you see any little bitty white spots, that's the texture of the canvas showing through, telling you, put more paint. Okay. I'm just going to kind of dab in some light. Just because. we go. Awesome. Yeah, just soften it up a little. And then I can actually take a little bit of dark, and kind of darken it up a little underneath. Not that there's really any room to do this, but you can try. Kind of darken it up some around it. There. Awesome. Okay, now this is just optional. This just takes it up one extra notch, right? Gives a little extra something. Okay. There. Now, at some point, we have to remember to flip it back around or it makes our brain hurt a little bit while we're painting, but I'm going to leave it like that just for a minute. Now, it's up to you. What kind of beverage is in here? Is it kids champagne, as my daughter calls it, the sparkling juice? Or is it champagne? Is it wine? Like, what's in your glass? If I wanted to go for champagne color, what I would do is I would scoop some yellow, and I did this earlier to make for something else, but then you get just the teeniest amount of purple at a time. I know that sounds weird, but yellow and purple are complementary colors. If I put too much purple in there, it will just go brown, so you have to think about that. If yours goes kind of brown, then just add more yellow. Then I could add a touch of white, soften it up, and I could add even more white, really soften it up, and then I might as well just use this little brush because honestly, this is not much space in here. There we go. There we go. And then I'm going to use a little darker version of this. Kind of put it a little darker down here at the bottom of the glass. Oop, I might have to let that dry a little. It's not wanting to let me lay the darker on top, is it? A little bit darker version down there at the bottom. There we go. And then we can actually put a little white right there on the top, which I know right now looks like the bottom, but it's really the top. Okay, so this gives us dark, medium, light. Okay, then we can flip this around. There we go. There we go. Okay. Now, here's one thing I'm going to do. This is a little different, but I'm going to take some more white and mix it in to my pink. Okay? So I make a really soft pink. Really soft. Okay, and I'm going to do the really soft pink inside the wine glass because it's glass, right? So I want it to be see-through, but I want it to be a little different than the background so that it doesn't just blend right in. Okay, so that's why I did a really light pink because my background was pink. If your background is gray, do really light gray. If your background is blue, do really light blue. If your background is black, do kind of a grayish, right? Okay, there's that one. Now let's work on this one. There we go. Whew. Trying to be extra careful. Make sure you're holding your brush just like you hold a pencil, right where the metal and the handle touches. Sometimes it's hard to hold our hands steady when it's up in the air. So if you wanted to go blow dry your canvas, and then that way you could lay your hand down on part of the canvas so that way you can paint nice and steady, that would be okay. Okay, now let's make a lighter gray by mixing some white into our gray. So we make a softer gray for down here. There we go. There we go. Okay. And in here, somebody's knocking stuff down in my house. Sound like dishes falling. Hope they're not broken. Sorry, I'm so quiet. I'm trying to focus. There we go. Okay, so now we have lighter gray, lighter pink. Looks a little different. Pops out from the background. I know you're like, I don't know about that. I promise you're going to like it. Okay? So now, oh, you know what I see, guys? Look what y'all let me forget. To paint this background color right here in the bow. Silly me. There. Okay. Sometimes you see things on a camera lens that you don't see otherwise. Okay. So now let's use one of the smaller flat brushes. Okay. And think about what color do you want your bottle to be? I think I'm going to make a green, but then I'm going to mix it with some turquoise. So I'm going to do yellow and blue. The more blue I put in there, the darker the green will be. Okay, so here's my green. Then I can take this and I can mix it with some turquoise. Maybe that was too much turquoise and not enough green. But again, you guys can make whatever color you want. This is yours. You do you. Okay. There we go. That might be a good color. Okay, so now I'm gonna pop a white in there, kind of soften it up. There we go. Get all that extra paint off. And this one has nice stiff bristles, so it should keep the paint where you want it. And then up and down, up and down. Make sure I'm filling all those textured spots. There we go. There we go. Oop, there's a little spot of bottle right there. And really, there should be a little spot probably right there. And then we've got this one right here. If you don't trust yourself with this brush, you could always switch to a smaller brush for smaller areas, bigger brush for bigger areas. I did it again, guys. Look right there. That should be background. I bet y'all didn't forget that. I bet you didn't. You probably saw that and you were yelling at the screen. Kimberly. There we go. We go. Fabulous. Fabulous. Love it. Okay. So I'm just getting this all filled in. Kind of outline, fill in, outline, fill in. Remember, at any time you can pause me and play me again. You can get up and blow dry. You can walk away for a minute. Sometimes I have to walk away from my paintings for a minute if they're not doing what I want them to. Okay. There. Fill that in. A little bit of a curve line. Whoop. Oh. There. Fabulous. I love this color. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to grab one of my smaller brushes. It's kind of flat on the end. And I am going to do two things. And part of it, I'm going to lighten it, just like that. And I'm going to do a shine and a shine and a shine and a shine. Okay. Kind of blend that shine in a little. There we go. Then I'm going to hit one more time. Pop. You could even go straight white right here. Pop, pop, pop. Okay. Now I'm going to, this is kind of crazy, wipe the extra off on my napkin, get a little bit of red, and on the other side of it, I'm going to make a darker version, and it will go purpley if you put too much in there, okay? Make a darker version so that we can do a shadow down here at the bottom. Boop. Oh, and maybe a little bit on this side. There we go. Just a little boop right there. So we add just that little pop of shadow on the opposite side. So we have highlight on the left and top, shadow on the bottom and right. Then I need to, before I forget, fill in this color right here. This is background color. There we go. Ta-da! Oh, yes. Okay. Ooh, label. Think I'm going to go with a real soft, maybe the same color we used for the champagne in our bottle, but maybe a little softer. So put a little bit more white in there. And then use this color for the label. And then you could like put whatever you want to. You can put your last name on there. You could put the year. You could put a saying. You could put a word. You know, whatever you think. Whatever you think. There we go. So for now, we'll get our base on there, and then we'll think about what we want it to say, right? Okay. I'm going to clean this other brush off. I got to really rub this brush in the water, wipe it on the side, and extra dry it, because I had paint going all the way up the side of this brush somehow. There we go. Dry, 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 dry. Okay, what about some pretty bold red? Purple? Orange? Maybe red. The nice thing about acrylics is if you get a color on there and you're like, ooh, no, do not like it, you can most definitely change that color out by letting it dry and then just painting over it. Easy peasy. There we go. So we're just going to keep working our way down. And I'm using this smaller flat one with the corners because if I turn it one way, it makes a skinny line. If I turn it another way, it makes a thicker line. So it's kind of nice. There we go. Awesome. Okay, so now if it's not dark enough, you can let it dry a little and then put a second coat on, okay? Because it's kind of hard to put a coat on when it's still wet, because really it just like cuts through instead of laying on top. There, okay. So let's go back to these bottles for a little bit, okay? We want them to look like they have bubbly in there, right? So I can take some more white, really mix it in with a little bit of that real light tan, and I'm using my brush handle because I'm gonna make some little dots in there. So it really kind of looks bubbly. And really I'm just kind of going boop, 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 just all over. Instead of just making them look like individual dots, I'm just kind of dot all over, so that the dots kind of blend with each other, okay? Let me show you up close. Just like that, all right? Okay, so now, it's like so much going on, isn't there? I'm going to take some white and I'm going to put a little shine up here. I'm going to put a little shine right there. I'm going to put a shine down the side. I'm going to put a shine right there, and right there, and right there, and right there, and right there. And then one right here, and there, and here, and there. And then what you could do is just kind of back and forth, just kind of go back and forth, and back and forth, and back and forth. Just so it adds like a little extra something in there so it looks like it's glass, right? Okay. Then, oh, you know what? While I have the white in my brush, I could do, boop, wipe that red tip off, dip again, boop, boop, wipe that off, dip again. Just add, there. Awesome. Okay. A little bit right up here, 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 here. Put some right there, there. And then what did you want your label to say? New beginnings, fresh start, 2021, Happy New Year, cheers, whatever you wanted to say, right? Whatever, there's no wrong answer. Okay, so I think I might go with cheers. I think I like that. Move this so I don't put my arm in it. Okay. And you could most definitely use that Sharpie, couldn't you? That would be so much easier than trying to do this. E-R-S. Cheers. Oh my goodness, it's so hard to paint with these brushes. I should have grabbed the smallest one. That's okay though. Okay, cheers. Awesome. Now, if you have an oopsie, let's say you're like, OMG, what did I just do? Okay, and you kind of start stressing a little. You can take your napkin, wrap it around your finger, And you can just rub that right off. And I know you're thinking, oh, she just made a mess. Okay, then we rub again the clean spot. We rub again with the clean one. And look, it's almost like it never happened. Isn't that so cool, guys? I think it's cool. You can go back and fix your oopsies, even with acrylic. So see, we don't ever stress when we're painting. Oops. Because it can be fixed, I promise. Okay, one way or another. Or you let it dry and you paint over it. So one way or another. Isn't that a song? One way. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Now, let's say we want to go back and we want to, you can either do this with your Sharpie or you can do it with your paintbrush. We want to go back and bring out these Sharpie lines. Okay? You can definitely do that with the paintbrush, or you can do it with your Sharpie, whichever you're more comfortable doing. I would say Sharpie, but I'm trying to show you both ways. Okay. Notice my lines are not perfect. I personally like it that way when the lines aren't perfect, but it's up to you. There we go. There. 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 Whew. We're getting there. 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 Okay. And down and around. And on the label. And around. We're doing fabulous. There we go. Now, if you chose to paint, it is kind of tricky. So really, you just have to take a deep breath and dive in. You can't stress about it, okay? Just take a deep breath and dive in. And believe in yourself. That's the biggest thing. Like, you can't doubt yourself. You can't cut yourself down. You have to just build yourself up and tell yourself you're doing fabulous. And don't quit, right? Just keep trying. Keep pushing through. Because remember, my paintings are layers. Your painting can be in layers. And you really can't judge it until the end. And honestly, you shouldn't even judge it then, because artwork means different things to different people. So just because you don't like something doesn't mean somebody else won't love it. Oop, darn. I just made that a really thick line. So now we gotta fix the top. Okay, yay! And then we'll go right here, and right here, and right there, and there, and there. OMG. There we go. Oh my gosh, I love it. All right, guys, this is so fun. I really enjoyed the process with you guys. I hope that you have a super great new year, or you could even be toasting this for Valentine's or an anniversary or any kind of celebration, right? Birthday, why not? So, cheers to you. Label your label according to why you're painting this or who you're painting it with. And have a very special celebration. Be positive, be kind, and look forward to new things. Thanks, guys, for hanging out with me, and I cannot wait to paint with you again.